I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday, Brahmins. Just 3 days left in your last week of final classes. Here on main campus tomorrow, you'll be getting your permission slips to go home early after your last exam for the day. Those permission slips will have to be signed before you can leave campus. If you ride a bus, we'll still be running buses at normal schedule Monday through Thursday. Remember, Thursday is your early release day, so you will be released at 10:15 if you're on campus on Thursday. You do not have to report to school if you do not have to take exams. Thursday is our makeup day, so you would only report Thursday if you owed somebody a semester exam. Seniors all the way, well, juniors and sophomores, your classwork, it should be turned in by Friday. So Q4 and Skyward, that's quarter 4, those grades wrap up on Friday. Then what you're working on the following week is your SE2 grade, that's semester exam, second semester. That's what you're working on next week. So don't get confused. Oh, I got more than a week to turn my stuff in. Nope. That ship sails after school on Friday. So make sure that you get that turned in. One last thing, I want to address seniors for a moment. Seniors, lots of questions about what do I wear for graduation? You do have a dress code. Boys need to be in button-down shirts. And girls, you do not want to wear heels. We are going to be on a dirt floor, and even though it's going to be compacted, your heels will sink into that dirt. So you need to wear wedges or a squared heel. Shoes need to be black, nude, or a white color. And boys, you'll also want to wear a black tie underneath that, underneath the gown. Wow, I'm struggling this morning. Sorry.
Hey, we're wrapping up testing right now. So today we'll finish ELA testing for makeups. And if any of you guys missed geometry, which Miss Hills does have a list, but if anyone knows that they missed geometry last week, tomorrow and Friday will be your days to take that. And then we are done. There are no more days to makeup testing, guys. So if some of you intentionally missed tests, remember, those are a grad requirement, and we have to start hitting those next year. We were kind of given another gift by the state with some of the test scores, but don't depend on that. Next year will be back to normal, and you will have to get those scores to graduate.
Good morning. Not a lot this morning, but I do want to make a quick shout out. It always makes my heart feel good whenever kids find things that are very expensive and they end up turning them in, and it would be very easy for them to put them in their pocket and go home with them. But luckily, we don't have kids that do that. And one of the ones I want to shout out today is Anton Thomas. He found a very expensive electronic device and brought it to me, turned it in, and it could have easily disappeared, but he ended up turning it in, and I'm sure whoever's it was very thankful for that. So, Anton, we want to shout you out and appreciate you, buddy. That's the Brahmin way, man.
Good morning, freshmen. Just a reminder, Ms. Meyer spoke a little bit about next week in the schedule. I've had some emails. Yes, the buses will run in the morning and the afternoon to bring you to school and take you home. And yes, we will have shuttle buses during the day to take you to the high school. But since we only have 2 periods a day for testing, basically there will be a bus to take you there and then a single bus that will come back in after the first round of testing. So I'm going to send you what that's going to look like for next week in your email. So, check your email so you can read through it. And then if you have questions, You have 6 teachers every day you can ask. You can ask me in the courtyard. You can ask Ms. Smith in the courtyard. We're always around. We're always happy to answer your questions. Also, I have some students asking about credits. I'm glad that you're asking. And so if you're unsure about where you stand as far as promotion and you're not understanding what the 5 credits equates to with your classes, shoot me an email. I'll be glad to I'll send you an email back kind of explaining it. And if you need more information, we can certainly sit down and talk. But please, what you do not need to have is anything that's below a D for your second. If you're looking at semester 2, that S2 column, that's where you're looking for credit. So make sure when you're looking at your grades that you're looking at that column, and that's going to determine credit. A D or greater, we would like C's or better, but a D or better will get you credit. So if you have questions, please let us know. And we have bingo for today. So we have N41, G55, and I-29. So teachers, check those bingo cards. Ms. Smith, is today the last day for something?
Yes, it is the last day to purchase your tickets to the PBIS event on Friday. So make sure you get it done at lunch, please. 10 Brahmin bucks to enter. Also, students, a reminder, since we are running an activity day scheduled on Friday, all freshmen will come to freshman campus. Do not go to the main campus, okay? All freshmen, freshman campus, all right? We'll make sure we get you to where you're supposed to be throughout the day. We look forward to finishing out the week strong and having a great time. Back to you, Ms. Myers.
All right, I'm going to end with a shout out to our brand new incoming senior class. They won't be seniors until Friday, but our brand new senior class of 22 governing board. Congratulations to Jacqueline Jaimes, Abigail Holcomb, Kirsten Kennedy, Rhiannon Dyer, and Joy Whipple. Congratulations to you all. Buckle up. It's going to be a busy year next year. All right. Have fun watching your wellness video as together we
Move forward.
And be great.
Be
Brahmins.
all day.
hey.
Hello, welcome back to this month's wellness video. My name is Catherine Williams and I'm the Director of Mental Health and Behavioral Supports. It's great to see you again. Last month we talked about bullying and how to help yourself or someone else if bullying is happening. This month we are going to talk about substance abuse and how and why you should not abuse substances such as drugs and alcohol. Let's review the ground rules that were established on the previous videos. Our first ground rule is that we should all listen with an open mind. Second, we will avoid personal stories. We will also be supportive of each other. We will not tease or make fun of each other or anyone or anything that is said in class. We will listen when someone is speaking, and only one person will speak at a time. Our last and most important ground rule is that whatever is said in this room stays in this room. This is a safe place to speak and ask questions. What is said in this room should not be gossiped about later in the hallways or on social media. However, it is important to know that if a student discloses potential harmful behavior to self or to others to an adult in the room, the adult is required by law to report this behavior. To begin, let's ask the question, why do you think youth use and or abuse drugs and alcohol? Teachers, please pause the video now to get student responses to this question. According to the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, if you included these reasons in your answers, then you're exactly right. Because of symptoms of anxiety or depression, lack of positive social interaction or friends, or even trouble with social skills, risk-taking behavior, experimentation, peer pressure, or a family history of substance use or abuse. The use of alcohol and tobacco should not be taken lightly because they can be the gateway drugs for other drugs such as marijuana, cocaine, hallucinogens, inhalants, and heroin. What do we mean by gateway drug? Teachers, please pause the video now for student response. Yes, you are correct. Gateway drugs are often milder drugs that can open the door to the exposure or to the experimentation with other harsher substances. However, do not be fooled. Even gateway drugs are dangerous. Alcohol and tobacco are very addictive. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, tobacco use is the leading cause of death and disability in the United States. The CDC states that by the 12th grade, about 2/3 of students have tried alcohol. About half of 9 to 12th grade students reported using marijuana at least once, and about 40% of 9th through 12th grade students reported having tried cigarettes. Among 12th graders, close to 20% reported using prescription medication without a prescription. According to the Monitoring the Future project, 50,000 students in the 8th, 10th, and 12th grades are surveyed each year. Some of the findings suggest that students reporting alcohol use in the 6th grade had greater rates of both illicit substance abuse and lifetime illicit substance abuse. Let's watch a video about substance use, its consequences, including addiction, and how to get help.
Ever felt stress or pain and you're not quite sure how to deal with it? Have you felt tempted to try drugs or alcohol as a way of coping with stress or pain? Stress and pain are a part of life. Many teens turn to drugs and alcohol as a way to feel better. Not only are many of these substances illegal, but when used too often in too large amounts or for the wrong reasons, they can be very dangerous. There are a wide variety of drugs and alcohol, we will call substances, that are used to feel good or high. These include legal substances, like prescription medications, caffeine, and household chemicals such as glues, aerosols, and cleaners. Substances legal for adults, but illegal for teens, such as alcohol, nicotine products like hookah, cigarettes, and e-cigarettes, marijuana, which is legal for adults in some states, and illegal drugs like cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamines. When your brain is exposed to one of these substances, the substance triggers areas of your brain that make you feel pleasure. Some people want to feel that pleasure over and over again, so they continue to take the substance and may take it in larger amounts. They may come to a point where the body and brain need the substance to feel normal. This is called addiction. It's important to seek help before addiction takes over your life. Warning signs of addiction include using a substance for a long time and needing more to have the same effect, always thinking about finding and using the substance, craving the substance and not being able to stop using it, substance use that affects school or sports performance, work or relationships with family and friends, missing school, work, or social events in order to use the substance, using the substance even when it can be dangerous, like before driving. Seeking treatment for addiction can be difficult. Friends and family members may be the first to notice changes in behavior, mood, and physical health. If friends and family are concerned, it's time to seek help for treating the addiction. Your healthcare provider will do a thorough physical examination and medical history, and ask questions about your use habits. Your healthcare provider will also want to find out if you have any other physical or mental health conditions which can affect the treatment process. Most people need a long-term plan to stop using these substances for good. Talk with your healthcare provider or a mental health professional to find a treatment plan that will work best for you. Treatment options may include a detox program. This program will include care from trained staff who watch your heart and blood pressure closely. They may use prescription medicines to keep you safe as your body cleanses the drugs from your system. Medications can also help remove the remnants of chemicals in your body left over from your substance use. Talk therapy with substance use treatment counselors, medicines to treat addiction and prevent relapse, and support groups. You may also work with a counselor to come up with a plan to help you stay drug and alcohol free. Your plan may include finding support systems, This might include only spending time with friends who are also drug and alcohol free. Having a plan for what to do when you feel tempted to use. Remember, it's okay to say no. Participating in new activities to replace old habits. Finding other ways to manage stress and emotions, such as meditation or deep breathing, exercise, spending time in nature, listening to music, or talking with a trusted friend or family member. And choosing a support program like Alateen or Teen Anon. Quitting can be very difficult and uncomfortable. If you ever feel like you may hurt yourself or others, or have thoughts about taking your own life, get help right away. Call 911, a suicide crisis helpline, or go to your nearest emergency department. Addiction can be very harmful to both you and those around you. For some drugs, all it takes is one time for addiction to begin. Drug use can lead to motor vehicle crashes and other accidents, overdose, and death. The best way to avoid the consequences of drug use and addiction is to avoid starting in the first place. Drug addiction is a condition that is both preventable and treatable. Work with your healthcare provider, counselor, and family to come up with a plan to give you the best chance of getting and staying clean.
What are the consequences of substance use and abuse? Teachers, please pause the video now to allow students to brainstorm some answers to this question. At first, you may choose to take a drug because you like the way it makes you feel. You believe that you are in complete control on how much and how often you choose to use it. However, over time, the use of drugs changes how your brain functions. These changes are damaging and can last a long time, and in some cases for a lifetime. They can make you lose control, make poor choices, and lead to damaging behaviors and outcomes. According to WebMD.com, drug abuse, which is using legal or illegal substances in ways that you shouldn't, can lead to addiction. Addiction is when you can't stop, not even when it puts your health in danger or causes devastating issues for you and your loved ones. These addictive drugs target your brain's reward system. The addictive drugs cause too much of the chemical dopamine in your brain, which triggers messages that you need more of the drug to keep the same good feelings. This can cause you to get less pleasure from the activities you used to enjoy, such as family, food, friends, and activities. Watch this video about how substances and addiction affect your brain and body.
What is addiction? It's also called a substance use disorder. Over 20 million people nationwide suffer from addiction. 1 in 7 people will experience addiction at some point in their life. Scientists first began to understand addiction as a brain disorder back in the 1950s. Doctors Olds and Milner, in laboratory studies of rats, found the parts of the brain affected by addiction. But then in 1994, Drs. Volkoff and Shelbert, top neuroscientists, ran PET scans of the brain that showed the effects of substance use disorders. And like other diseases, these scans showed it affected tissue function. So there are 2 main parts of the brain affected by drug use: the limbic system and the cortex. The limbic system, located deep within the brain, is responsible for our basic survival instincts. So when you do essential things to stay alive, like eat, drink, find shelter, build relationships, or care for your young, your brain reinforces behaviors that cause the release of dopamine from this region. That reward for surviving is also transmitted to the amygdala and hippocampus, which records a memory of that feeling, so we seek it again. This is our survival hardwiring. Addiction also affects this area, up here. That's the prefrontal cortex, which is what separates us from other animals. And this is where decision-making and impulse control live. When drugs or alcohol are used, they activate the very same dopamine process in the survival center. And when use is repeated, that substance can hijack that part of the brain. This hijacker changes the brain and weakens this system to make it believe that the primary need for survival is the drug. In hijacking the brain, it can usurp those primary motivations: food, water, shelter, relationships, and protecting our young. And the hijacker needs more and more of the substance to activate the same level of reward or feeling of pleasure, causing the brain tissue to become increasingly damaged with continued drug use. So why don't all people who use alcohol or drugs become addicted? There are factors that contribute to the development of a substance use disorder. They include individual factors like your genes, your age of exposure, and then environmental factors like drug availability. But there is good news. Addiction is preventable. Key factors that aid in preventing addiction can be categorized into two parts: risk factors and protective factors. Protective factors range from parental involvement, programs that improve self-control, limiting availability, and increasing attachment to your community. Another key element in preventing substance use disorders is to delay when use begins. Put simply, prevention is about delaying the onset of first use. In the adolescent brain, where brain tissue is more vulnerable, the hijacker is more prone to weaken the brain and plant itself as a disease. Those with substance use disorders commonly initiate first use much earlier, between 12 and 18 years old, which increases the likelihood of the hijacker taking hold. But if the hijacker does take hold, addiction is treatable. Advancements have been made in assessments, treatment programs, recovery supports, and medications to treat addiction. Brain scans show that once in recovery, the tissue in the limbic system and cortex can get better. With your help, we can expand these innovations to help millions of individuals and families and ensure that addiction is treated as the medical issue that it is. Together, we can solve this. Join us.
Sometimes people use drugs to help them relax, escape stress, or to help them cope. This is not a healthy way to practice self-care. Do you remember when we talked about self-care back in previous wellness videos? Teachers, please pause the video now to let students review types of healthy self-care. Great. I'm sure you mentioned things like taking care of your personal hygiene, eating well, getting enough sleep, getting some exercise, making time for social activities, and paying attention to your thoughts and feelings. Self-care is the most important way to boost and maintain both emotional and physical health. Many people today neglect it due to a lack of time, and this negatively impacts the lives of those who do not make sure they are putting themselves first. Take care of yourself. Today's relaxation activity is called 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then breathe out for 8 seconds. Be sure to take big, deep breaths in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Teachers, please pause the video now to review today's material and to practice the 4-7-8 breathing activity. We hope you learned from this lesson. Today's wellness video lesson and activities were developed by our district licensed mental health professionals with the help of district resources and the online resources of the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and WebMD.com. Remember, we want you to know that it's okay to speak with someone if you feel you need some help or support. Teachers are available and you can always see your school counselor. Remember, there's always hope and help is always available, no matter what is happening or has happened. We hope you enjoyed today's lesson and we look forward to seeing you for our next wellness video.